The 2024 NFL trade deadline has come and gone, and we're going to react to every move here on Verts. My name is Harrison Graham. This is an NFL and college football show. Be sure to hit that subscribe button for daily content. All right, I want to start with the big trade of the day, at least the biggest one in my opinion. Marshon Lattimore gets sent to the Washington Commanders. A lot of picks moving around here. Lattimore and a 2025 fifth from New Orleans. The Saints get a third, fourth, and sixth back, all in the 2025 draft. There was chatter the last 24, 48 hours that the Saints are more open-minded to trading Lattimore, especially after losing or firing Dennis Allen. And it seems like they're kind of going to enter a rebuild here. And listen, Washington, 7-2. They get that crazy Hail Mary win over the Bears a couple weeks ago, win again last week. They feel like they can win now, and this is what you do. When you have a rookie quarterback that you feel good about, you want to maximize his rookie window, and clearly they feel good about Jaden Daniels. That secondary needed another anchor back there. Lattimore is that. He's a little nicked up right now, so he might miss another game or two, but should be ready to rock for the final push of the season and into the playoffs, which, barring a collapse, is where Washington will be. So Lattimore to Washington, playing under Dan Quinn. That's a pretty big boy move. And after Detroit, the rest of the NFC is kind of wide open right now. They're obviously in a two-horse race with Philadelphia for the NFC East, so they're trying to make moves and win that division. So big move for Washington. I think the Saints did pretty well, too, here to get 3 picks back while only shipping 1 out. Okay, comment below. Who made the biggest move at the NFL trade deadline? To me, it's Washington. Detroit being a close second. We'll tell you what they did here in a little bit as well. But that's a pretty big boy move in year 1 of the Dan Quinn and Adam Peters era. Okay, Steelers made a couple trades today. They get Mike Williams. They've been literally trying to get a receiver for like 6 months. They swung and missed on Brandon Ayuk. They swung and missed on Devontae Adams. They settle for Mike Williams, who they were supposed to get a visit with, if you remember. But once he visited the Jets, he signed there. Things did not work out. They obviously brought in Adams, which opened the door to ship out Williams. Jets getting a 5th is actually pretty decent for them. I thought this would be like a 6th-round pick at best for Mike Williams. They get a 5th instead, but I think Pittsburgh was a little desperate to get another weapon for Russell Wilson. And while Mike Williams hasn't looked great this year, one thing he's always been good at is jump balls. And what does Russell Wilson do? He throws a lot of one-on-one jump balls. So now he's got 2 guys he can throw them to, George Pickens and now Mike Williams. And they also have Calvin Austin who can roam the slot. So he's not a great player anymore, but I do think he's a good complementary piece for that offense. The other move they made was kind of out of nowhere, to be honest, because Pittsburgh already has a really good defensive line, but they had another veteran pass rusher, Preston Smith, and only gave up a 7th-round pick to do it. I don't really get this one from Green Bay. They're 5-3, certainly in the playoff mix in the NFC. And listen, I get they probably want to play Lucas Van Ness more, give him a larger role, but Preston Smith can still play at a pretty high level. He's got 2.5 sacks this year. I think he had 6 or 8 last year. So he'll go in, be a good rotation piece for Pittsburgh, and they're 6-2 right now. They're clearly feeling like they can make a move in the AFC. So they had a couple of guys for a couple of day 3 picks, and both should be contributors. Elsewhere in the AFC North, kind of just a flyer move from Baltimore. Big name, but not really a big-time player anymore. Tre'Davious White, who just a few years ago was one of the best corners in the NFL with the Bills. He flamed out there, ends up signing with the Rams. Did not work out. They swap future 7th-round picks, which I always love these type of trades. It's like, what is the point of this? The Rams get a 2026 7th-round pick. Ravens get a 2027 7th-round pick. Tre'Davious White to Baltimore. This kind of just feels like a, hey, we believe in our defensive culture. Can we maybe get whatever is left out of Trey White, if anything at all? If not, no harm, no foul. But the Ravens' defense has been a little spotty this year, so they make a move here to try and take a flyer on somebody and see if they can strike gold there. Okay, San Francisco and Houston. This was the last trade of the day. The Texans get a 7th-round pick in 2026 for defensive tackle Khalil Davis. Niners just had a depth guy there. They've been a little thin on that defensive line since they lost Javon Hargrave earlier this season to a season-ending injury. So no real analysis here other than this is a depth body for San Francisco. Texans clearly didn't feel like they needed him, so they work out a trade as D'Amico Ryans chips out a player to his former boss in Kyle Shanahan. Going to rehash some of the trades from earlier as well, but hit that subscribe button here on 4Verts. We're going to bring you the latest NFL and college football news, rumors. Today we got trade deadline reaction, game reaction, had a Monday Night Football recap up last night. If you want to go check that out, Chiefs improved to 8-0. Going to try and give you guys a college football playoffs ranking reaction tonight. If not, we'll be doing that most weeks moving forward. So rock and roll with us here on 4Verts. We got you guys covered. Okay, Cleveland and Detroit, the Browns get a 5th and a 6th in 2025 and 2026 for Za'Darius Smith and a 2026 7th-round pick. This is not great return for Cleveland. I get they get a couple of picks out of it, but only one this next year, and it's not even a 4. It's a 5 for what clearly ended up being the best pass rusher on the market. There was reports out there that the Lions sniffed around on Max Crosby, but that was a no-go for Vegas. So they settled for Za'Darius Smith. Obviously, ever since they lost Aiden Hutchinson, they've been looking for a pass rusher. They get one in Za'Darius Smith. And from Cleveland's standpoint, they're clearly in seller mode, so they at least got something for him. I'm a little surprised Cleveland didn't trade off a few more pieces like Shelby Harris, and maybe Wyatt Teller, but they ultimately just traded Za'Darius Smith. I think this is the second most significant trade of the day behind Washington landing Marshon Lattimore. The Bears ship out Khalil Herbert to the Bengals for a 2025 7th-round pick. Herbert fell out of the Bears' rotation this year behind DeAndre Swift and Roschon Johnson. Bengals just had Zach Moss suffer an injury. He's on IR, so Herbert's going to get real opportunities there. It's him and Chase Brown. Those are their top 2 backs now. So he gets a chance to get back on the field. A guy who rushed for over 1,700 yards in his first 3 seasons. So Bears don't get much here, but he had fallen out of the rotation. He's a free agent after this year, so they decide to at least take a pick for him rather than just keep him and run out the season here. Cowboys make a bizarre move in terms of value. They trade a 4th-round pick to Carolina for Jonathan Mingo at a 7th. Sure, you get a 7 back, but out of all the receivers that got moved before the trade deadline, I mean, he is easily the least proven. Jonathan Mingo is. He has 0 career touchdowns in 24 games with the Panthers. And I get it. He's playing with Bryce Young, Andy Dalton, etc., but he doesn't even start for them. Like, he can't even get on the field, and Carolina's terrible. Plus, Dak Prescott is out for the, or not out for the year, but he's on IR now, which means he's going to miss at least 4 weeks. The Cowboys are 3-5. I get he's got 2 more years on his deal, but like, to me, this is like, you want to take a flyer, like, it should be like a 6th. It should not be a 4th. Now, maybe Carolina says no in that case. It's like, okay, well, then you don't pull the trigger. Like, this feels like an overpay. This feels like a Jerry Jones trying to be smartest guy in the room. Steven, this guy just tested incredibly well. We loved him out of Ole Miss. Well, what's he done the last year and a half in the NFL? He's done nothing. He's done nothing. So not a big fan of this move for Dallas. I think for Carolina, pretty good considering he basically wasn't even factoring into your offense. You at least get a 4th-round pick for him. All right, there you go. NFL trade deadline in the books. Those were the trades from today. Pretty quiet. The Lattimore news obviously was a pretty big one. And then Za'Darius Smith to Detroit's significant, but we kind of saw that one coming as well. Who do you guys think is the best team in the NFL after the trade deadline? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We'll be back soon with more coverage here on 4Verts.